Hello, hello, hello. We are playing this game. And yeah, it's called Our Life. Sweet, looks sweet. It feels cozy. Okay, new game. Okay. Okay, this is a demo, so this is a preview of that includes the beginning of the game and previews of some later events. Expansions and improvements to the game will come out soon, and it will have partial voice acting. This demo doesn't have any voice lines. Okay. So, oh, that sucks. But we'll see how it goes. I hope it's not gonna be like one of those things where like, oh, you can get this like route for $10. Oh, this couple of things sent you $5. I hope it's not like that. Okay. The story of our life, now and forever, spans 12 years. The characters you play at the beginning as a 10-year-old child and ending as a 22-year-old adult. In between those 2 points, 2 other stages of life, 14-year-old and 18-year-old. These time periods are referred to steps 1 through 4. This demo contains scenes from childhood and a brief look into adolescence. You will be able to determine almost everything around the playable character's name, appearance, and personality, pronouns, skills, weakness, how they act and what they feel, and more. Okay. And all those details can change as you grow up. Over the course of the game, however, they won't be forgotten. Who you are and who you were is remembered by this game. I thought so. And the characters you meet, choices you picked up in step 1 can still be referenced to all the way in step 4. It builds together. Okay. Yep. Don't care. Okay, so yeah. We can make ourselves. Okay, I don't care. Let's do this. Facial type. Hair. Okay, well. So how are we? Eyes. Face. Eyes. back. Accessory. Okay, that's an X. Accessory. Okay. Okay, so over. Okay. Okay. Head. We can have a flower crown or a bow. Flower crown. Glasses. Should we have glasses? No. Earrings? No. I'm surprised I don't have cat ears. Okay. Too bad we can't change the colors. Extra. Speckle. Why is there rosy cheeks? Okay. On my hand. Frankie. No. Cat ear. Sweet. Taylor Sweet. It's small. Tall, average, short, short. Okay. Okay, I don't care. Oh, go look this up. Okay. Miss Taylor Sweet, Madonna, no, Miss. Okay. Jesus. Well, okay. Okay, then can we not change the hair color? Okay. The sticker, don't care, crystal. I guess. Okay, so my mom can have like red hair. Okay. It looked like fall in Golden Grove. Okay, so let's save so we don't have to go all the way back. More than any place that you've seen before. It could be one of your old picture books to show little kids what autumn was supposed to be. There weren't any green trees, bushes, but there weren't any bare branches yet. It was almost the same as normal. All that had changed were the colors, red, orange, and yellow. Even the blue sky high above your head seems a little different than it did in summer. It wasn't as bright as though it has gotten tired of sparkling by this late year, or like it was even farther away from you now that you were in this place. The plants, the skies didn't get this way where you lived, where you used to live. Your thoughts continued to jump around while you stood there in the big circle of the street at the end of the road. It was a weird path. You couldn't take you ahead or to the side or anywhere else like most streets you've gone down. This one only came right here with those big houses. Are we in the middle? Okay, fuck. It was cold outside. Chilly enough that you sometimes hold your eyes closed for a few seconds longer than usual, trying to keep your eyeballs from feeling like they're gonna freeze inside your head. This is a real place. The icy surroundings, you said, and you were really in it. And it was where you were going to stay. That was new. Your mom and you had lived in apartments before, and never for a long time each time, until she got a big job in this not that big town and bought a big house. You wouldn't be going anywhere else for a long time. Now in that moment, you couldn't imagine being there forever. But that's the way it was. The old tin house at the end of the long round road was now your house, standing tall with the other two by its side. Okay, so this is our house, the one on the left. I thought it was going to be in the middle. Those buildings were homes too, with their own people living inside, and those people in those ancient houses were going to be your neighbor. Okay, damn, we got a lot of choices. That kind of mixed up. Would it be better this way? Worse? Something else? You didn't know what to think. No matter what, you keep looking out for your mom. Someone has to make sure she was okay. Taylor, come here. Taylor, come here. Oh no. Taylor, come on over and take a look. Oh, that was your mom's voice. You hadn't noticed she'd gotten so far. That was enough to bring you comfort and make yourself move forward towards the unknown in order to reunite with her. Oh, wait. Okay. Off the cul-de-sac road, cutting across the lined grass and sidewalk, you reach the picket fence your mom had called from. The gate was unlocked. Unlike the other houses, in front of you was a tiny gray stone walkway that led up to a couple of steps. Those steps led to the door. You dragged your feet along the rocks and dirt. The small private path was more uneven than you thought, and the tip of your shoes got caught on a raised edge between the ground and the stone. It caused you to stumble up the line right before arriving at the end of the rocks. You steady yourself before going up the tiny stairs. Oh, that's cute. I wish we could have done her hair, like colored it or whatever. And there was your mom, standing at the edge of the porch, arms folded and waiting. She must have been moving around before because the shiny opal earring she had on were twisting from side to side a little bit. You know they were real opal stones because she told you before. When she first got them, she also told you a long time ago that her normal name, not Mom, was Opal. Her clothes were the same. Her clothes were the colors of a cloudy day after rain had come and gone. The kind of day that could be cold and bad, or really relaxing and comfy. It depends. You wonder which way she looked at it from. You didn't know. The rest of her, though, was so much more bold, especially the matching purpley cranberryness of both her hair and eyes. There were a lot of things out of the world with that color that could feel gloomy. Mom smiled at you. It made you feel as soft and warm on the inside as your mom was on the outside. What do you think? It's a pretty place, huh? I'm gonna have my own room, right? You will, my dear. Her mouth stayed in the shape of a smile, but her eyes and eyebrows changed, bending in a way that made it seem like she wasn't really smiling, or was it some kind of smile? She put her hand on one of the white paint pole things that kept the porch roof from falling. Her fingers moved along with it. Won't be too much longer. The real estate agent should be here to hand over the keys in a couple of hours. Then it will be official. We'll be the new residents of Golden Grove. You shifted your weight from one foot to the other. This was a real big deal to your mom. Her whole life was changing too. You hoped it wouldn't be a mistake. You didn't want your mom to be sad. Well, you've seen the yard and the outside. You don't have to wait here the entire time. How about you go look around the rest of the neighborhood? She bent down, placing her hands on her knees in order to speak directly Do you bomb on the same level? And talk to me like a normal. It's a safe town, especially this area. You will be able to play freely out here. Don't like pretend, but why are we doing this? Okay. Okay, you turn your... Oh. Please, you weren't a baby. What could go wrong? Mom went back to her normal way of standing with her head up high, arms folded. That's the spirit. Enjoy yourself. Just don't stray into any of the streets today. Top it out. You'll get to go farther some other time. With that, you flipped around, bounded down the steps, and went back towards the sidewalk, ready to explore. Prologue. Step 1, prologue. Save. I want to override it. Your shoes really squished down to the dirt part where you crossed from where you were down to the solid road. The smell of grass, the rain softened ground, crisp through somehow. Then the kind of musty hung in the air, bringing a whole new year of school with it. You were going to be a 5th grader. Then why are we holding on to her leg pant? I mean, we didn't, but it was an option. What? 10th grade is like 4th grade, isn't it? You're going to be a 5th grader, and that would be a completely different from being a 4th grader, and not because you'll be attending a new school. You'll be the highest grade of the place. Maybe that's why your mom was so sure you could do this by yourself. You were growing up. Not everything about that was a bad thing, yes. Then before you took one more step, there was a faint tap against your shoulder. It was barely stronger than the wind, but it was definitely something, and completely out of nowhere. Whatever the guys you deduced, you jumped straight in the air out of shock. It was pure instinct. You hadn't realized it happened until you were back on the ground. Rapidly, you ping-ponged your gaze from left to right, trying to get a glimpse of the poking perpetrator. No one was there. The neighborhood was empty, except for you. You would have settled on in, been a mystery forever if you hadn't noticed there was a thing left behind the counter. Sitting there, in between the muddy brown blades of the grass, was something new. Airplane. Oh, God damn it. Who would throw this at a stranger, and why would they disappear after doing it during the house? As you considered those questions, your gaze shifted back towards the right of the side of the street where the tap came from. Whoever sent this to you had gone that way. You crouched down to grab it while keeping a lookout to make sure nothing else stuck up on you. The paper didn't feel the same crinkly, crackly way most normal paper did. It was thicker, somehow, almost like a piece of cloth. It was cotton candy. That wasn't the only part that stood out. The page was a tan color with dark brown lines, it's construction paper. not white and blue, or white and black, or something regular. More questions to ask add to the confusion. Where would paper like this would have come from? You turned the paper airplane around in your hand, squinted your eyes keenly. There were pencil markings on the underside. The paper had scribbles and maybe even letters. There was enough of a sign to undo the shapes someone had put into this. You pulled at the flaps of the plane, flattened it out between your palm as best as you could. It was true. The paper airplane had a message. Well, maybe. There were some words on it, but not a lot. They were on different lines from each other. You read over each tiny part from top to bottom. Hello. Go out. Hide out. Then the bottom corner was Taylor Swift. Your name. It had addressed you personally. There's no mistake that you were meant to get that plane. You scrunched up your face. A person had wrote stuff on this tiny piece of paper, turned it into a paper airplane, and threw it at another person. And the message they sent was that? That was weird. It only kind of made sense in that they were all real words, but none of them meant anything together. Should we go looking around, or you just want to get back to looking around? This wasn't going to stop your exploration of this place. Maybe that's what they were hoping for. It was a message to scare you away. Too bad for them. You were going to ignore it. Past the parts where the light shone through the clouds and parts where it got darker, you went along, taking the new sights of what was now your neighborhood. The half circles of houses was out of sight by the time the normal sidewalk ended. It really ended. Instead of connecting to another street with homes or stores, there was a car road behind you and a bunch of trees playing on ground in front. Going down the road, you would have to bring you to the rest of the town eventually, but there were more important paths to think of first. Oh damn, we just went. Bending in between the dark trunks and bright leaves were two lines stamped out through the grass. They went in opposite directions. It was a crossroad. One led more towards where the neighborhood was, but back further, the right of the edge where the forest started. Oh no, we gotta stay alive. Don't go into the forest. Go to the houses. There might be some people that'll help if you get try to get taken advantage of. Hopefully they'll help. The others went completely into the trees, a walking path for people who lived here. You stood over the start of this turning point in the woods in your life, feet posed to move over the stirring thicket floor. You knew exactly what you wanted. Oh my god, my feet is asleep. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, my foot. There was a path here that was definitely more worth trying than the other. You were sure of it. Something inside you just told you so. Left, and your journey continued. Once you went through the foresty path, you truly... God dang it. I wanted to go towards the houses. You had truly entered the wild woods. Nothing else surrounded you any longer. Nature spreads across the land with narrow dirt line fence between the only sign and anyone who walked in the spot before you. People were the only visitors here. Golden and red leaves gently rustled against each other in thick clumps, and with each tree's branches flowing into the others nearby. It was enough to keep the sky and the sun out almost completely, but the leaves burned brightly with the light basking over them from above. The foot-made passage continued to twist around higher into the mountainside, farther than you could see. Let's go back. With the tension growing over you like the dumb moss on those trees, you forced yourself to push deeper in the thicket. No, I said you preferred the neighborhood. The quiet bubble that existed here in the forest away from the town popped from a sudden unnatural clatter. You froze. The whooshing, thumping, stirring of the leaves, like something that had crashed into them. You were sure that wasn't the wind. It had to be an animal or a person, and it came from right over here. Look at this stick. While keeping your gaze trained forward, you bent down and felt around for a good-sized branch or something easy, something else that you could throw far but still had enough weight to get through the trees. Once you wrapped your fingers around a chunk of bark that worked, you stretched your arm out back behind your head and threw the stick in front of you. It flung forward, noisily disappeared into the brush. You couldn't see where it landed, the leaves swallowing it up whole. Let's go back. But that happened. Nothing jumped out at you. It just got super quiet again. Why? I don't. Take a peek. You crouched lower and snuck off the path. It was harder to keep your footing on the slanted, untrimmed ground. When you reached a really tree-cluttered spot, you grasped at the branches and pushed them aside in order to poke your head through. You moved them the same way you open a set of curtains, but it was a lot harder to do. The tiniest branches couldn't take the bend. It snapped from the pressure. There's a dog. You could feel the splintery ends of the plant scratch your face and clothes. It wasn't secretive of a check as you hoped it'd be. The other side of that tree was lined still in woods. Why are we still going here? I didn't want this. But the kind of empty parts. There was a lot of open ground with no trees, no bushes growing, a ton of leaves that were gathered into piles. Past the clearing, the trees were back and even more closely pressed than they were by the path. It was mysterious. There was nowhere easy to go. Nothing seemed out of place to you until... Hurrah! and a whirlwind of leaves rushing through the air from underneath. From one of the piles was a kid. You knew it was going to happen. With this person, you can hold the leaning forward position any longer and stumbled forward completely in the open area. You stared at them. They looked right back at you as everything they'd thrown into the air gently drifted back down. Do you live out here? Is the forest your house and you sleep in the pile of leaves? That got the stranger giggling. No, we're here. The jumping jack kid hopped again, but this time it was to get up off the ground. They dashed to the opposite edge of the open space, leaving the scattering behind them, dropping out of their clothes, being kicked up by their steps. You were already wondering what was going to happen next. From behind one of the tall, crooked trees, the kid began throwing sticks and other plant pieces around. They were uncovering a hidden treasure, a big brown bag. They used both of their hands to lift the pouch and get it over their head. The thick strap pulled tight under the strains of the weight attached to it. The line of their mouth looked just as strained. The stranger huffed as they realized the bag from their fingers, letting it rest completely across their shoulders. You heard the bumping around inside. Bring your position way over here. It was a really full pack, but it didn't slow that kid down. They ran back at full speed to meet you where you were. When they were in front of your face, they gave a wave and asked a question. Oh, wow, are your eyes in two colors? You suddenly had a stranger leaning their face closer to you, trying to get a better look at your eyes. They're not special or anything. Whoever they were hummed in a happy reply. No, it's fancy. The kid then kept talking like that the whole thing didn't even happen. Hi, are you a girl too? You nodded. She sang her own praise in a chiming tone. Both girls, both girls. All of a sudden, the leafy girl seems to remember to introduce herself the way most people do. I'm Tamarack. That's a name. Tamarack, what does it mean? A tamarack is a kind of tree. I like it a lot. So, what's your name? Okay, I'm Taylor. Wow, hi Taylor. She greeted you with a finger spread wave of her hand as sweetly as you always known each other, as if you always known each other, and she's done it like 100 times. You like it? You name? You sound vaguely. people call me Tay. Oh, alright. Your headband is nice. My mom got it from you. Wow. Why are you here? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you go? Cotton Eye Joe. Just kidding. Are you visiting? She pawed on one question after the other, letting them bubble out like her laughter. I'm not some kind of tourist. My mom and me just moved into this town. Tamara gasped, her eyes large as opening even wider. They were full of sparkles. Me too. I'm new too. I moved to live with my Omi and Opa. They have a house here, and I'm gonna be there now. I heard that before. Omi and Opa are... Yep. What about your parents? They're busy and not at home. I wouldn't go to school or do anything if I stayed there. So I'm gonna live with Omi and Opa right now. Your parents seem lively. No, I'm busy too. You are? Yeah. I've been here 5 days and it's really good. There is so much out here, probably won't be finished for a long time. Months even, maybe. This is my very first day in Golden Grove. Wow, that's barely different at all. We're not. She furrowed her eyes, short eyebrows as much as she could, as a new idea came to her. Hey, we're both girls and you. What if we were the same age too? I'm 10. I'm 10 too. Hooray, same age forever. Happily, Tamara held on a worn strap of her bag and bounced up and down in place. She'd run out of things to say and asked for now, you guess. With the empty pause getting longer, you decided you might as well ask her about what happened. You know what this is? She began to cheer harder the moment she caught a glance of the unusual colored paper. You got it! Got it, that's for sure. Woo! She flung her arms over her head in celebration, knocking the bag out to the side, and made a thump noise when it swung back against her. My aim is good. You blinked in disbelief. You've done it. You found the mystery person who made that strange paper airplane message. You didn't know how to feel about that. How'd you know my name? You told me. No, before that. I didn't know. I didn't know it before that. What's that supposed to mean? Huh? You thought you knew what disbelief was a second ago, but hearing that made you feel in ways you never had before. The stunned look on your face got Tamara to add more. The paper I used wasn't mine. It was litter in the woods, so I picked it up, put it in my bag, because I couldn't leave it on the ground. That's when I saw you standing in the road. I had an idea. I could do something for free with this garbage by making a paper airplane for you. So you didn't write anything on it? Yeah, I didn't. You were speechless. Yep. And that's all she said. Tamara couldn't tell you anymore. The person who wrote the strange message for you, was it a time travel thing? That would be something for you. Was still a mystery. You hadn't found them yet, even after the meeting the airplane person. Felt creeped out. It was weird. It was a weird note that you got, but realizing that someone wrote it to you without it being you sends you shivers down your spine. You squeeze your eyes shut super hard, and it made your cheeks scrunch up. You wanted to shut the whole world out, but you can hear Tamarac's softened voice. Taylor, what did the paper say? What did it mean? Not really. It was short. In all parts of on different lines, the word hello, go out, hide out, Taylor Swift. What? That's so weird. Who would write that? I know, that's what I was thinking. It's terrible. She took a big hop closer to you, a smile growing across her face as she laughed. You should keep coming. I'll come too. The paper isn't very old. It would have gotten wet or eaten by bugs if it was out there in the forest for a while. We could track them down and ask them what were they doing. Oh. No way you have to stay here. Her excitement puffed out completely. All right, I'll play here some more. She started waving off already. Bye. You drifted back towards the brush where you had come from. Following that was a shout from Tamarack. She had cupped her hands around her mouth to make it extra loud. Bye, Taylor. You left it there, feeling glad you were getting away from without it being a big deal. As you start walking along the woodland path again, soon you reached the head of the path. You were at the crossroads once more, but you brought back knowledge with you. You learned out what was in the forest, that new girl, and you were sure the road ahead was just a road. The left, only the dirt imprinted in this forked path as your main option. The decision was easy. You crunch footsteps starting up again, one after the other. Still your journey continued. The path ended up being a kind of trick. You ran out of the dirt to walk on. After only a minute or two, it became plain grass everywhere. Luckily, you only had to keep following the curved bend of the brush and the trees that separated the forest from that forest to know you were going where you had planned to go. Then you strolled even farther. Something came in view. You almost didn't notice it at first. Stretching about as high as the trees and made out practically a same colored wood was a tower sort of thing. The bottom of it was mostly empty space with the thin poles at the corner and the only full wall. There was fake little rocks stuck to the board of the wall inside, probably for people to climb on. Above was a natural floor, a slanted roof, and railing around. Some ropes dangled off it in multiple places. Let's save. Yes. Okay. The thought came to you that it had the same feeling as the treehouse, except not the treehouse. It was definitely wasn't a real house. You might as well have found a local playground. Curiously, you moved closer until you were right in front, and that's when you came to a shocking realization there was something up at the top. Your eyes squinted, trying to see more clearly, and your neck bent far as your head might fall off. So far, your head might have fallen off. You could make a lumpy pile. Use one hand to take a hold of one side of the board wall and the other to grasp a fake rock attachment. You planting your feet firmly on the ground, you shove forward before landing your heels to pull back. Even with all your might pushing and tugging the base, you could only get it to creak, not move an inch. The sudden sound of clattering ruckus from inside the fort made you flinch in place. It was scrambling, thudding noise that you knew came from the movement. Hi, baby. This is nice. The wind is nice. I love this. The lump stopped just being a lump. It shot up, bent right over the railing, peering down, and saw you. Ah, it was another kid. Who are they? A silent standoff surprise played out between you and the stranger. Then, all together, one half of their mouth, one of their eyebrows, and one of their hands shifted upwards. The lopsided pose they had, the fact they were at the top of the tower made them seem pretty in charge here. Who are you, and why are you in my backyard? Oh, they were in charge here. I didn't know this was your backyard. Somehow they twitched their smile and leaning over the rail even more than before. Yeah, there's no fence. But there is a house over there. If you look again, you can see that's the back of a house. So this is the backyard, my backyard, because I live in the house. You knew what a house was and what a backyard was. The pin was making a joke of you. Up and past, your defense didn't change. Your smug smile after all. I do have a pretty big backyard. Thank you for saying so. At that, they pressed the palm of their hands hard against the railing, then used it to kick their legs over the top of the side to thumb themselves right off the fort. There was a powerful crunch and a gust of air when the person hit the ground, just a little to the side where you were. They landed on their feet, crouching into a ball, making their hood of their jacket flip over their heads from the impact of falling down. The person stayed like that for long enough that the leaves they stirred up settled quietly onto the grass. Hi, baby. The kids straightened themselves out with more pose than you could ever expected. I like her outfit a little bit. Squared shoulder, chin up, with one hand they pushed the hood down over their back again. They were confident and they knew how to show it. That's it. You were left speechless. They took a hold of the open side of their jacket and flapped them out, shaking off bits of sticks and whatever stuff that's got on it when they collided with the dirt. Anyways, they shifted their head around to get their hair back over their shoulders the way it was before, then jabbed a finger. Hello, I am playing Our Life, Now and Forever. Yeah, it's a demo right now, so it'll be out, I don't know when. I'll have to keep a hold of this. This is very interesting. Yes. On itch.io. On itch.io. It's an indie, a place where indie people could place their work, like games and stuff. A lot of it's free, but you just have to, if it pops up saying like, hey, how much would you like to pay, you can just click the go to the download, and if you like the game, you can like pay or tip them. So yeah. Then jab the finger onto their chest. I'm Mr. Qiulin. Qiulin. It means both Q's arms spread out openly, gesturing to the wide world all around. Autumn, nice to meet you. Oh, I like your name. What is your name? My name is Taylor. Great. What's your whole name, Taylor? Not really an RPG. It's a visual novels with multiple options. He was persistent enough that you gave him your name in the end. I'm Miss Taylor Sweet. That was perfect, Miss Taylor Sweet. Oh, I got a nickname that people sometimes call me. Tay. Cool. I got a nickname too. It's Autumn. 'Cause like I said, that's what my name means. You can use it if you wanna. Alright. Wait, and also, how old are you? You seem pretty similar to me. I'm 10. Q slapped his fingerless gloved hand against the front of his chest to show how taken back he was. Well, so am I. Nobody else close by was exactly 10 before, and now it's you. And you're gonna grow up someday, and I'm gonna grow up too, but that's not gonna stop us from being the same age. Cool. Yeah, this is great. More 10-year-olds were better than less. But the talk you were having ended with a clear clap from Q to bring it to a close. Now that we're people who know each other, I still wanna hear what you were doing. I lived my whole life in this town, in this neighborhood, in that house. I've never seen you anywhere. There's gotta be something going on. Well, you had been exploring your new neighborhood and got into this backyard by accident, but now you really met someone to talk to, and you couldn't help wondering about that message again. You slowly reached out into your pocket, presenting a mystery paper to Q. But before you even said anything, Q wheezes at the tight grimace. He looks as stiff as wood towers behind them, just like that. You're, he stammered and babbled and pointed his finger all around the space that was in front of you until the words finally came out to him. A sorcerer! What? No, wait! Q threw his hands up into the air towards his shoulders and suddenly movement making sure nothing interrupted his train of thought. You're a thief! That's why you're here, to rob my house! Why do you sound so excited about that? You think I'm gonna rob you? 'Cause I figured it out, and I caught you. You really think I'm a robber? He got all fluttery, and with his laugh and waving his fingers. No, you're just a kid, but you got some cool tricks. Q tucked one of his hands inside his jacket and moved it around in there, humming. The whole time, there was some kind of secret pocket or compartment in that coat. Aha! Just as you thought, he removed his hand. He was grabbing onto something. It was a little notebook. The edges were bent up and crumbled, probably from being squished a lot of ways and a lot of times. And there was paper sticking out in weird ways that made you think that they weren't even attached to the book anymore. They were just mashed between other pages to keep him in place. The thing is, you notice most colors tan with dark brown lines. It was the paper from the airplane. Q flipped open the book, tapped in the slow, considering rhythm at the front page with the back of his knuckle, and said, you wanted to know without having to do anything? That's my special paper with my notes. But it's not in my notebook. It was in your pocket. You must have done the thing that's sleight of hand. Sleight of hand? That's what you did. You snatched my stuff in a blink of an eye while I was standing here. So you're a magician. Or a pickpocket. That's all it could be. It's funny. He shifted onto his feet, putting one hand to his hip and using the other to make a waggling gesture with the notebook. Q was really confident in his accusation with you. Can you show me how to do it? The wavy motion that Q was too much for the old notebook. It was bent halfway upwards and downwards with the momentary of its owner's arm. Some of the paper slid out. They drifted to the ground lightly. And yeah, it's PC. Sorry. The same way leaves fell from the trees. You stared right at them, sitting there freely, like that. You didn't. Maybe you lost it, and that's maybe what Tamrock found it. Nah, I never lose things. He said it absent-mindedly, still not paying attention to the paper cluttered around his feet. They were pretty much waiting to be blown away in the wind at that point. You never lose papers. You already lost more papers. His eyes widened and lifted the notebook over his head, twisting his feet outwards more to fully clear his view of the grass below. Finally, he spotted the missing pages. Whoa, thanks! In the middle of talking, he dropped to his knees to scoop up all the loose papers. It only took about a second for each one to be gathered. He leaned off his knees and onto his butt and made a little sound. From there, he got his feet against the ground while pushing up with his hands, still clutching the paper so he could stand again. With the success rescue mission done, Q delicately flipped throughout the notebook, inserting the loose paper along the way in between different pages. He went all that way to the end. Then Q's complete book was pressed shut once more. Hey, that really helped, Taylor. At the beaming smile directly onto your face, almost had you covering your eyes, but before that happened, he looked away. Q twisted to the side to better rummage inside that hidden pocket of his jacket. He made super sure that an entire stack of paper made it safely back in this time. You heard a sigh of relief, and even a swooping move. Q tilted his head back over his shoulder to reveal his face again. The bright expression from before was completely gone. He had that smirk again. So, did you see that? I don't lose anything. Oh my gosh. Next time I'm not going to tell you about it. Marlin Q leaned a lot more forward, all the way onto his tippy toes. He stayed up and put his hand against his chest like it was nothing. You didn't know how he stood on them so well. I don't know about that. You seem really nice. You helped me out again. Thanks. Q's fun with your reaction came out as a second set of snickers. His cheeky mood drifted away once more. Those were done. Q twisted to the side to make a rummage again inside the hidden pocket of his jacket. He made sure that notebook made it back inside in its normal spot. When he tilted his face towards you, he was quiet and thoughtful. This is mysterious. My paper has vanished, and a brand new kid appears in my backyard. I don't know where. I don't get it. I'm Q. I'm your neighbor now. I moved into the middle house on the street. Knew it. I thought you said it was the next one on the left or something. Oh, the new neighbors. That's right. That's you. It makes more sense. It makes so much sense. Then Q shook his head side to side, flopping dark brown strands of hair around, trying to sort out his thoughts. But if you're just my new neighbor and not a thief or sorcerer, then how did you know that was my paper? I didn't know, not for sure. What, you were showing my notes off to everyone you saw in the world? Yeah, that was the kind of idea. Huh? You knew it would be a long story, so you took a huge breath. I got here today with my mom. She's waiting for the real estate agent, so I had to go spend time doing something. I went down to the road and paper plane hit me in the shoulder and nobody was there. Q nodded along, probably not getting everything you were talking about, but curious enough to just keep listening. I picked it up and opened the plane and saw the stuff written on it. I thought the person throwing it was trying to give me a message, but I stopped thinking about that and went to explore around the neighborhood. By accident, I ended up finding the one who did it. You did? It was a girl named Tamara, and she saw the paper on the ground, picked it up, and later made a paper airplane to surprise me for fun. He put his hand on his hip as he thought hard about the info he just learned from you. and it was all random stuff for fun. I guess so, but if you are the one who wrote it, how did you know my name? That was on the note, and what was the other words supposed to mean? Hello, go out, hide out, Taylor Swift. It doesn't make sense. Oh! Q cracked a smile and flicked out his arm to start his own explanation. That was stuff I was gonna do. Counting to 1, 2, 3 on his finger, Q listed off each part of the letter simply. Hello, hi to the people going around. Go out, visit the town or another neighborhood or whatever. Hide out means go to my hideout. Q stopped the countdown to pat the sturdy wooden wall behind them with pride. Right here. Okay, now I'm getting it too. Alright, yeah, for your name being here, there, my mom and dad told me. They talked about how new people were moving in next door and how there was going to be a kid my age and her name was Taylor Swift. It was cool to me, so I wrote it down. That way I wouldn't forget. And I even took out and read that page a lot to make sure it would be something I remember. It looks like I forgot after all. Well, you're such a scatterbrain. Q patted the front of his jacket with the security in the world. You guessed that was where the pocket with the notebook was set. More like an organized brain. That's pretty crazy with the paper plane. It was really impressive. You put the whole thing together on your own. He was right. You had been able to discover the whole story. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna save. This is cool. This is very cool. And I saved it. And we are going to go. I gotta go. So thank you guys for watching. And maybe tomorrow, maybe later. I don't know. But I'll see you next time. Join my Discord. And to know when I'm live. And you get like special, like exclusive, like cat pictures, what I'm doing, food, and all that. Maybe hidden art. And thank you guys for watching.